In this special episode, I'm taking you along on my personal quest for a digital detox. As a project management trainer and course creator, I understand the relentless pace of the digital world. But this past December, I chose to step back to find a balance between my professional commitments and my personal life. Tune in as I explore what it means to disconnect from the digital realm and reconnect with the most important aspects of life, being present for myself and my family.
All right, Twanna, I'm excited about us getting together at this conversation because I think you probably looked at me like I was crazy when I said I'm doing a digital detox and I announced it to everybody. It's kind of a little bit of accountability, a bit of accountability for me in particular, but just to see if I could get anyone else on the bandwagon. I don't think anyone did that. So you agreed to talk to me and for our listeners for the podcast to talk about my experience. And I know we have a set of things that we want to talk about. So what questions do you have for me?
Okay, so first, I think it's really important to just tell everybody what exactly is a digital detox. What is
Oh gosh, it could mean many things to many people. For
that?
me, I'll talk about what the digital detox was to break away from social media, which would then allow me to break away from my phone and be present. Um, I have noticed something about myself, something I've noticed about others. We're always on our phones, even in the middle of conversation, and we swear we are listening, but it's just this need to be on, is how I kind of define it. And the detox piece of it is to not feel like you have to be on. Breaking, largely people will define it as getting off of social media. And it was something I really, every December, I try to do a bit of a break and a reset. So I don't take on any clients, I don't do any training, but I felt like I was still on to answer people's questions. And even though, you take that break in December and then we start back in January, you
Right
know,
back
that
into
I
it.
right, I feel like I'm missing all these, opportunities, but there's also an opportunity that I'm missing out on of just being in life, right? Being present and reading a book. I mean, that's something that I really wanted to do and kind of get into the habit. So I hope I answered the question. I know there's something more, research based, technological, but I when I looked it up in different articles, some people will go through draconian definitions of you're just not on email, you're just not on social media. I
Yeah.
think it depends on the things that, right? When people go on a detox from substance abuse, substance
Right.
use, like alcohol, like I'm a detox from
Or cookies.
alcohol.
I mean, it didn't have to be
Right, right.
cake, pies, fries, all of those things. Like,
Right, right. You're right. You're right about that. But it was definitely a detox from social media for me.
okay. And so, what made you do that during the holidays? So, you took this time off, and now you're like, and I'm putting my phone down too. Like, the holidays, really? How did you come up with that time frame?
Well, I also saw it as a way to take advantage of the fact that people are kind of checking out. Like, so ironically, on the, social media, there's like all these memes about, it's now time for I'll circle back after the holidays type of messages, usually those last 2 weeks. But I try to jumpstart that first week. That first week is like I'm a family of four on my parents' side. And my mom, my dad, and my brother all have birthdays that first week of December. So it's
Okay.
just kind of a way to just like, okay, I want to celebrate them. I want to celebrate, start kicking off the month celebrating. But one of the biggest things, if you were to kind of do a like scan of my phone, probably of like the swipe smudges, I like I found myself every 5 to 10 minutes. I hate to admit this, constantly swiping my phone to see who left a message or may have engaged with the post. And it was becoming very frightening for me because it was just like the second nature. I mean, I honest to goodness, I take off I don't have notifications, but because I'm so wanting to check, I even put the icons like on the 5th page, and I have got myself so skilled that I can swipe the hell out of that page so fast that I get to the icon without even thinking about it. And there I am looking. And I found that one day when I just put my phone away, it wasn't even a day, but like half the day. And I said, I haven't looked at my phone in a while. And I looked, I didn't have any messages. I don't think anybody really engaged, and I was okay. And I was like, it doesn't have to be right now. It doesn't have to be immediate. Like, if the message is there, I'm sure I can answer tomorrow or in 2 days. And the fact that people engaged, I mean, that's just people's way of saying, I'm just gonna let her know I read it, and maybe I even read it, but I don't feel like commenting. They're just,
Right.
it
And I
just,
think half of the battle there is the fact that you looked at it and you were okay. Right.
mhm.
So I know for me, I never committed to a digital detox, right?
I was
But
definitely asking if you're going to do this with me.
yeah, no. And the crazy thing was, I, for some reason, actually looked at a notification week before last where it tells you like how much screen time I had used in the week on my phone. And it said I had been on my phone for 49 hours
Oh my God.
that week. And I was like, what the heck
More
was
than a
I doing?
work week. Oh my.
I was like, what was I doing? Because it
Mhm.
was literally as we're coming off of vacation. So it's like right before New Year's. So it's not, wasn't working. It said I spent 8 hours playing a game. I only have one game on my phone. And apparently I spent 8 hours playing the one game. I was like, that is a whole day of playing a game. And I felt some type of way about it, kind of the same way I feel when I step on a scale. I always tell people like that's like, the lottery. Like I just never know how to catch three is gonna fall when you step on the scale. But that's how I felt. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I spent that much time on my phone, and I can't even say I was working, right?
Right.
So this leads me to another question. So when you said I'm going to do this detox in December, right? And so you gave me a little bit of it talking about how your family want to be present for family and all of those in the people that you care about. But as a project manager, because I know there's some thought process that went into this, right? Um, so you say you were going to do it. Like, how did you get from idea to actually implementation? Like, how do we say, okay, I'm actually going to do this at this period, and this is how I'm going to do it. How did you get there?
Um, well, I think sometimes with the detox, right, it's just full steam. You just do it. And so some of it was removing apps off my phone.
Oh, you remove
Yes,
apps.
I did. I did. They're back. But
Look, that made me nervous
here,
for you. You're removing an app.
because if I had it on there, I would still check. And that was the big thing for me. I had to remove LinkedIn off my phone for the month. I thought I was going to be able to keep it off, and what I was going to do is force myself, if I need to look up something, I'm going to go to my desktop. So, but some things, this is how these tools get you. Some things you can't do on the desktop version. That's what really
Mhm,
pisses me
mhm.
off. And do you have to do it on the mobile way? You don't have to, but uh, you know,
At this point, it's the way
it's
you know.
yeah, and then sometimes people will say something at night and you just don't want to get on your laptop during the day, so there is that convenience. um, I also put timers on
Oh,
my apps. So my Gmail, that's what I use for my emailing. I've now uploaded or reinstalled LinkedIn on my phone. I have a timer for that. I have a timer for Instagram. Um, and that I put like limits. It's very sad, but it is true. I have to limit myself so I don't have those 49
49 hours.
forty
I,
nine
I,
hours a week.
I'm
Um,
almost embarrassed.
it's
Almost.
but this is part of, right now, and knowing is half the battle. And I think that's where, when that timer says, shut it down, and it tells me, like, you can change the timer. And I've cheated a couple times, I'm not going to lie. But it's also a reminder to me, like, you've been on longer than you want. Like, you need to rest. Um, and it is not easy in this digital world. And I think from a project management standpoint, project managers were on all the time. And really what I wanted that detox, number one, was to kind of jumpstart into a breather into the new year, because it has been pretty hectic starting out in January 2024 for those of you listening at this point in time. But it was also a way for me to kind of right set, okay, how do I want to spend my time moving forward? So I've kept the timers on. Um, I I sometimes I still go back and forth of just removing LinkedIn, because that's my biggest thing. I keep Instagram. Instagram doesn't bother me because I look at it more for the pictures and the memes.
Right. Instagram is
Um,
fun, especially
yeah, it's
in our
fun.
industry, it's more fun. So it's actually relaxed.
Yeah. LinkedIn is all my
Then
own
it's work.
business.
It
Yeah,
is work.
yeah, it's work. And I definitely took off Facebook. The only thing of Facebook I have on my phone is Messenger. So that one is not hard for me to, like, I'll look on my desktop tomorrow, because it's just
Facebook
kind
is
of
hard
like,
for me.
really?
So
Oh,
that is my playground, and it is hard for me. The rest of them I can leave, but me,
really?
look, we just have probably a toxic relationship at this point.
Maybe consider a timer. Maybe you just consider a timer on it. And that's what I also see from it is that, okay, if I know that I've only set 75 minutes a day, now I'm going to try to be a lot more intentional about, okay, rather than checking it first thing in the morning, maybe I let it be my afternoon break or something like that to catch up. Because I really am more productive in the morning with work stuff. And why, like, use up my brain power of some of the things that are non-essential for me, when I just get to work, do what I do best, and then use that opportunity to be on. Because I have a team, like, between you, Tierra, my social media manager. I don't have to worry about those things. I can respond to my posts, respond to newsletters at my own time. And I think that speaks to the project management, is like, have set times to do focused work. And sometimes when we're always on, it's everything is a fire that we're addressing, and what seems like a fire and it really isn't. And I've even found that with emails, like, I don't get as stressed anymore with emails that I see, because I do kind of do that Eisenhower of, like, do I do it? Do I delegate it? Do I delete it? And this is a case of, sometimes there are emails that come in and I'm like, I can't process this right now. Like, I need more than 20 minutes. If there are emails that are going to take me 20 minutes or less, sure, I might get to that, to make a decision if I do decide to delete it. But I really, the digital side of things really was from a social media, and to a degree, the email, of not getting caught up on that distraction, so I could focus on where I shine, which is the content development. Creating more, I'm looking to create more content for the University of Maryland, for my own Mind Spark training, as well as for indoor recess. And I just, it is not for the weak doing this detox. You have to be okay with letting go of FOMO. And there was a term I heard, I haven't heard as many people use it, the JOMO, right? The joy of missing out. Because sometimes it's, at the end of the day, it wasn't that critical, but we definitely are in a society of, like, feeling like you've got to be in the
Right. You got to do
know.
it right now. You can't
Yeah.
miss it. You can't wait to address it. Everything needs all of you right now. And that does suck. And having
Yeah.
to retrain your brain is not easy. And so I definitely get that. So let me ask this question, especially because it's January as we're
Mhm.
talking about this now. And so a lot of people do stuff like dry January and all of that, right?
Big January, yes.
Yes, we're doing that. This is when we're setting our New Year resolutions about fitness goals, health goals, work goals, all of those things. And I know a lot of times when we're doing these things, we share that with the people that we care about. One, so that they understand what I'm doing. Like, don't ask me out for drinks if I'm doing dry January. Like, that's not the thing to do. So when you told your friends and family, or if you told your friends and family about your plan for December, like what kind of feedback did you get? Was everybody on board? Were people looking at you crazy? Like, what was that like?
Nobody cared.
I guess they figured they
Nobody.
knew how to find you, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just still
and
not getting away from them.
and so the interesting thing is, so for instance, with LinkedIn, I put an out of office message. I think that's a great feature that they added. And I had an out of office message. And I said, if you really need to get in contact with me, email me. I think I got like 2 emails. And that was a reminder to me, it's never an emergency.
Right.
It's just like, even when I went away um for my 2-week trip with my family in Europe, and I put an out of office message, I'm not available, I'm not checking email, I'm not checking LinkedIn, and I was happy about that because I could be in the moment with spending time with my family in Europe. When I got back, no emails. Like, I got your out of office message. It's never an emergency. I just, and if it was, just something not at all that was an emergency. It was just people's sense of urgency. And that's unfortunately the times that we're in. Like, it feels like an emergency just because I don't want to forget about it.
Right.
And I just, you know, I have to be careful about that with, as a business owner, even though LinkedIn is my playground of finding business and connecting with people, what I do, you and I always talk about this, nobody's going to die from not getting project management
That is
training.
true. That is true.
And
It feels like it though.
yeah.
We have this thing where we don't want to let people down, right? We
Hmm.
don't want to disappoint people. Or, with the FOMO, right? Especially as a business owner, you're like, if I don't capitalize off of this momentum, off of this opportunity, what happens to my bottom line?
Right.
If I don't act. So having the courage to say, hey, it's going to be okay if I don't. Something else is going to come through. They will still want me tomorrow. Even
Hmm.
that feeling of just knowing, like, I'm so amazing at what I do that it's a reason why they reached out to me, and it's okay. Because we oftentimes tell people we want them to have work-life balance, whatever that means to people in that moment. But then we don't always practice that. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to guess that part of the detox also brought some kind of balance um, to your worlds for a little while, where you didn't feel so bogged down by every little thing that was happening when your phone dings and pings.
Right. Oh, I read 2 books. I haven't done that in, I don't want to say how long it's been, but I actually read 2 books. And I'm unfortunately, because I'm on all the time and I hear about the latest book, I'll go buy it, start it, and don't finish it. So I have about 5 books I've started and I haven't finished yet, because it's just constantly like ping, 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 ping. I heard about this book, I heard about that book. And by not being on and being influenced by someone saying, did you hear about this? I could just focus on reading a book or listening to a book while, on the treadmill or something. So that was really special to me. I, watched movies as a family, and rather than being up late on my computer or something, or on my phone not paying attention. So those are the things that I really valued. And I just feel like I could breathe. I don't know. I just feel like I could breathe.
Well, that's good, because I was going to ask you what unexpected feelings and reactions did you have
Uh-huh.
during this time. So feeling like you could breathe, I think is a really good feeling to
Hmm.
have, and not knowing that you may have been suffocating a little bit beforehand. You
Hmm.
know, it's like not knowing you didn't feel well until you feel better. And you're like, wow, I didn't even know
Yeah.
I didn't even know my legs hurt before, but now they feel so much better.
From this episode, I shared with listeners about the strategies that were pivotal to my success. I took conscious steps like removing certain apps and setting timers, which helped me maintain focus and commitment to this endeavor. and I found time to breathe. What do you think? You think a digital detox is in store for you? Stay tuned for part 2 of this conversation with my business bestie and fellow project manager, Twanna Gill.